গণতন্ত্রের শপথ নিন, 7 জানুয়ারি ভোট দিন।
If you're watching me right now, I'm gonna say you can't drink tea from now on. Not only tea, you can't do anything you feel like doing. You can't walk, you can't even breathe. How would you feel? Weird, right? The things I'm talking about, these are the basic human needs, the basic human right of a human being. So how would you feel if your basic rights were snatched from you? As a citizen of Bangladesh, I feel like my human rights were snatched from me. Confused? Let's dig deep into that. So first of all, in order to talk about human rights, we need to know what human right actually is. Human rights is having the freedom to do whatever you want despite your race, despite your religion, despite your ethnicity, so which means your background shouldn't matter, because these are the basic human needs of a human being. And secondly, human rights ensure you to establish freedom of speech, freedom of association. Human rights gives you a floor to do whatever you want as a human being. So as you can imagine, these are the necessities in order to live a blissful life, and when these necessities are taken from you, even if you are alive, that is equivalent to being dead. And currently sitting in this very chair, I feel like I'm dead inside. And when I'm gonna tell you, when I'm gonna describe the reasons why I feel this way, you might end up agreeing with me. So stay tuned for the next 3 minutes. So first of all, in order to understand my entire situation, you need to come back with me and we need to time travel in the last 50 years. So back in 1971, when Bangladesh had to fight for their freedom, after about 24 years of slavery under Pakistan, and before that we had to serve the British for about 190 years, and that isn't enough. We had to serve the people across the country who had ruled us for almost 500 or 600 or as far as we can remember. So as Bengali or as as people from this ethnicity, we have always been ruled under some people who are not from our ethnicity. So when we got our freedom, when we were finally free from all the chains that our ancestors have been put, and when we are out of the shackle, the moment we wanted to enjoy our freedom, finally the freedom we have been dreamt of for years, for centuries, and we couldn't even enjoy our freedom because of few political parties who doesn't just let you live in peace. So I'm gonna just mention few incidents so that you can understand the entire things. First of all, the liberation war I talked about earlier. After 24 years of oppression under the West Pakistanis, when we were free from the chain of the Pakistani militaries. And what did that cost? Was that free? Like one day we wanted freedom and did we get that? Not really. After 9 months of bloody war, we had to snatch that victory from the Pakistanis. We had to lose about 3 million lives. The cost of freedom was 3 million lives. 2 million women were raped. And where was the international organizations then? Where were the people who are meddling into our lives currently? Where were they back then? And since I started my speech, I started this entire blog on human rights, don't you think the 3 million people who died in liberation war, their families, are they any less human than us? People who die for your country are anything but less human, or they are the golden sons of this country. This country was built because of them. So I believe those people had as much as right as us, and as the martyrs of this country, they deserve justice. Their families deserve justice, which weren't given by the international organization who are meddling into our lives currently. And after 71, in 1975, the dark episode of Bangladesh had occurred. The father of the nation, Bangabandhu, was brutally murdered alongside with 19 family members. Can you believe being killed like that? One day, you just try to put yourself in their shoes. One day, just like any other day, you go to bed wishing good night to your wife, your kids, telling them how much you love them, how much they mean to you, and thinking of you get to see the sunlight one more time. You get to breathe into a free country, a country you make sure was free. And just like any other day, in 15 August 1975, Bangabandhu went to bed with his family, and in the morning he was brutally killed. Don't you think that now tell me, do you believe that their family deserve the victim, their family is a victim of the entire situation as well? Don't you think that they deserve justice? And as a citizen of this country, we owe them that justice. And this justice, no international organizations like Amnesty International, the UNHCR, Article 19, who work for human rights so hard, day and night, where were they back then? The Human Rights Declaration by UNHCR was taken in 1948. And this is the incident I'm talking about, which occurred in 1975. Almost like 3 decades after the Human Rights Initiative was taken by the UNHCR. So where were UN back then? Where were UNHCR or other international organizations who work in order to establish equality? Don't you think that this is a discrimination against the people from other countries to this country? Moving on forward, after 1975, many people from freedom fighters, people who risked their very own life in order to make sure we, the new generation can breathe into a country that is free from the ruling, from the oppression of terrible rulers. The people who put their lives at stake in order to free us. The freedom fighters from Army, Air Force or the Navy were hanged in kangaroo court. For what reason? Because they loved their country so much. For what reason? So that they could foresee our future, and they wanted the future generations, us, to live a happy life, a peaceful life. Is that their fault? Even if we consider this as a fault, they're human at the end of the day, and even convicts are ensured with human rights. If you put a convict on a court, they are given lawyers and they are given chances for plead guilty. So when convicts are given rights that sort, what was the fault of our freedom fighters that they were brutally murdered for loving this country so much? In 2004, 21st August, Sheikh Hasina alongside her men were attacked. Many people had died that day. What was their mistake? What did their family do to suffer such a cause, to lose a family member? So it's high time we, the citizens of Bangladesh, do you know what differentiates a citizen and a good citizen? A good citizen is the moment when you understand all this situation and you recognize the faults and decide to speak louder and speak against it. So it's your decision to make whether you just want to be a citizen of a country or be a good citizen and make sure your kids have a perfect life, have a peaceful life that's free from chaos. So at the end of the day, I would like to request the people, especially the young, the face of the future, the upcoming generation, the new leaders who are watching me right now, I would want you to do your research on these incidents and make your decision in order to establish a country that ensures human rights. And the current government has done so much in order to establish human right, and we can say proudly that human right is ensured in this country, but the people from the guests from other countries who are currently staying as an observer for the upcoming 12th national election of Bangladesh, which is going to occur in 7th January. Those who are watching me, where were you guys when such things happened that harmed our human rights? And even thinking about such things as a citizen of Bangladesh, I feel like my human rights are at stake, because my victim satisfaction, since my ancestors had to go through such things, I feel like the world owes us that much explanation, that much justice. So the people, the foreigners, the guests who are watching me right now, where were you when such things occurred? Where were your justice system back then that you are meddling into our life right now? I feel like as a country, Bangladesh is a very stable country, and we could achieve the Vision 2021. And I believe that the way we are moving forward, we will be able to achieve Mission 2041 as well. Currently, we were able to turn digital Bangladesh into smart Bangladesh. We could fulfill all the LDG goals. We could fulfill all the MDG goals, and from a developing country, in near future, we will turn into a developed country. From a third world country, we are one of the top level countries who are fighting in order to become a developed country. So the way Bangladesh is progressing in the future, we will be able to achieve our goals. So at the end of the day, the people, the foreigners who are watching me right now, I request you to make sure that these based on these incidents, the victim satisfaction is ensured. And lastly, people who are watching me, the citizen of Bangladesh, I would request you to stand strong and stand against brutalities or discrimination this sort. And we, at the end of the day, we have to work as a whole. And in order to become a good citizen, lastly, I would like to welcome you all to cast your vote for the party who is deserving. Cast your vote on 7th January. Thank you.
গণতন্ত্রের শপথ নিন, 7 জানুয়ারি ভোট দিন।